This video is about Aries at 8 degrees. Aries 8 degrees is a degree where this is very potent energy because Aries is always ready to rumble, always to start, always ready to initiate, to lead, to take charge, to be first. It's the pioneer energy, but the 8 degree adds a whole nother level, a whole nother layer of depth to Aries energy. This is a degree and sign, Aries at 8, that is one where it's not just about physical power at this degree. The Aries taps into Plutonian energy. So there's soul power, and that sort of power can come in the most urgent, the most extreme, the most, those even traumatic, but times of real, just intense energy. So Aries at 8 has been talked about. Well, I don't know how many videos or things I've read about Aries at 8, but Aries all by itself, usually you'll see the word, the keyword passionate, like it's driven, it's passionate. And the thing is, at the 8 degrees, it's deeply meaningful. It's a seeker of truth. It's this ultimate investigator. It's a digger. It's a driller. It's all about the depth and what the hell is under there. Like, what's behind that? And it keeps active. It keeps working towards it. It keeps drilling. It keeps, what's the word? There was a word I read earlier today, and it was a really, really polite way. I mean, I've often used the word super detective. Some people say, oh, damn, that person's extremely nosy, all in everybody's business. But yeah, super detective seems pretty good. These are the ultimate researchers. And so this is that. This is being like on 10 with that, because it's going to physically take action. It's not just going to energetically inject itself, because that's the energy of the 8 degrees, where it can kind of use the willpower and the emotions and the energetics to penetrate other people's energy, to penetrate whatever it is that they're trying to get to the bottom of, or to the digging and the drilling. So this is quite, I would consider this kind of, one word, extreme. Aries energy extreme would be like a shortcut of what does this mean? Because it's got the mixture of Mars and Scorpio energy together as a shortcut. You follow? So when we think of the symbols for this, we know what Aries is. It's Mars, right? And we know Aries is the head of the ram. So we think head and body and appearance, but taking action and the tendency to kind of just keep going, or to be first, and maybe not even look. But not this degree. This degree is definitely going to have this psychic ability attached to it. It's going to have the ability to read other people's energy, and it will have this soul memory, soul history connection, where it can, obviously this can go a lot of other ways, where it might just be all about the mission and, the ultimate fighter, the super detective, the super fighter, the super marine. But this one does real good at digging up the truth, or at least they think that's what they're doing, digging up the truth. Some people are just straight nosy, right? But there's there's no sitting down with this kind of energy. There's no sitting still, because even if we're physically sitting still, the mind and my energy is always probing. As an example, I grew up as a kid with a father who had a lot of Scorpio energy. And this might sound nuts to you, or though maybe some of you can totally relate. I could feel him probing and wondering what the hell we were doing. I could feel, and this isn't about me and what I was perceiving. It's the fact that, and there's no doubt that he did this, because we caught on and we realized, whether it was energetically probing or not, we had, and I say we because I grew up with a lot of siblings, and there were times where we would talk, of course, and kind of share some of the experiences and things that we just didn't really like or care for, or that we thought were downright wrong. You know how kids are, right? And how things were back when we were raised. And so we would be tricky. We would be tricky. And because think about it, an authority figure who's a Scorpio, who that's some tricky energy. And those of you who have had that, you know what I'm talking about. So to get to my story, we would kind of set up, work like a team, try to figure out where he was at all times in the house, type of thing. Like, so we knew where not to be. Yeah, that was the reality of it. And there'd be times, lo and behold, we knew he's on the other side of the door listening, or he's in the other room trying to hear through the wall, type of thing. But it was more than just that. Like, there was always this probing. At least I always felt like there was a constant probing. And that's definitely this energy, this constant penetration to see what's there, what's going on there. So it's like an insatiable curiosity, but this brings with it a fixed vibration, very fixed, very powerful, very penetrating, and likely downright intrusive. So this can be tricky, because Aries tends to be really young unless it's had a lot of time to mature, like the fine wine, because that's Aries energy. It needs time to mature. And in that time, it understands itself better, and it learns more about, its pride, its ego, its ability to keep going, like as far as going after something, especially if it's something that it is passionate about. But that, once the shininess wears off, there's like, okay, there's nobody around, right? Like, what's the problem here? Why am I alone? Or why can't I finish shit? Whatever that stuff might be. So the 8 degrees can add a layer of depth that can definitely be helpful. But I think this degree and the mixture with the Aries energy, this is a handful for somebody to have and to take care of and to be aware of. There's a lot of power here, because it's not just the power of my physical, it's the power of the psychological. You know how there's a psychological warfare, especially in relationships, especially love relationships that are physically intimate relationships, which this would totally be, using the body for sure for that reason, needing that bond, the emotional and the physical bond, the energetic bond. Remember, I said this is attachment energy. And if Aries is really young and not aware, this can be a problem. This could even, there would have to be other things in somebody's chart, but this could equal stalker energy for sure. Really assertive and aggressive, powerful, possibly very much abuses one's power. If we don't have healthy boundaries for ourselves, then we don't give healthy boundaries to other people. So this would take some time to mature and to just understand the world a little bit better and people in it, and how to handle this energy. It's not that it can't be done. It just takes the desire to to grow up and to be willing to look in the mirror. So I think this is great energy for people who have got to be, if they're employed, taking leadership roles in very intense situations. These are like the firemen, the rescuers, the EMTs, the emergency crew, the people who arrive on the scene, people in the military, right? Whether you're with the medical or you're carrying a weapon, both, whatever that is. This is really that kind of, I'm a fighter, I'm a survivor, right? Scorpio, that 8 degrees kind of dances with death even, and is rejuvenated every time. It's rejuvenated. It feels rejuvenated every time that it dances around death, that it's near death. So not to say that it's looking for it, but after it has had that experience, it's almost like a rebirthing process that it feels, because that's that degree. That's the 8th degree. And because it's in Aries, it's the physical body and it's about me and self. Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense. So this is a degree that I would throw caution to. If you have it, you can ask questions. But again, it doesn't outright mean you are a stalker, or, if you have children or a spouse that has it, there has to be multiple other things in a person's chart that would, that combination together would make them literally not just think about it, but to not see that something is abusive and wrong and do it. You see, it takes quite a few ingredients in that pot for that to manifest and to show up in their life that way. So overall, this is a very um, mission focused energy. And it's that mission focused energy that may allow the Aries some follow through that it didn't have before. You see, because there's a layer of depth there now. It's not just the surface excitement. There's some, there's some meat and potatoes to this. It's do or die time. Like, I have to follow through on this. I have to take care of this or them or they. This is my job. It's my responsibility. This is what I was born for, type of thing. Right. Can be kind of crusade type of energy too. Because this can be fanatical energy. Again, you would have to have some other things. That's a strong word. But it's always just really good to be aware of it and to see it. And so you will get glimpse of it in your own life, whether you have anything here or not. But if you do like the astro journaling, that means every day you're paying attention to where the moon is and the sun and Mercury, those fast moving personal planets. And you're seeing as they move through the different signs, and you're paying attention to your mood and the events and whatever's occurred in your life. Well, then that means when the sun gets to that Aries at 8 degrees, or the Mercury gets there, or the moon gets there, even if you don't have something right there, you can probably recognize conversations, communications, how you were feeling, how others were reacting or feeling to you in your life. You can probably see it, because the reality is that it's all astrology. Aries at 8 degrees.